the artist of Life is Violence is actually a British painter, Richard Whadcock. As I started kind of like looking at art and Josh started looking at art, one of his pieces came across and I fell in love with it. And it was much more stark than this, and it had just this itty bitty tiny drop of red. I'd sent it to Josh with the lyric from Mama, you know, just a little blood to see it through. He was asking what I liked, and there were several pieces that were like this with charcoal that were much different. He just said, well, I can do something else. If you don't like this, I can do something. He was very, you know, and I just thought about it for a second. And I remember telling Josh, I was like, I'm just gonna fucking ask him if he'll listen to the record. Unsolicited, we sent him the record, and then we didn't hear back from him for a long time. And I was like, oh, I pissed him off. It's you know, I went too far.
Yeah, we started looking at other options. That's how convinced we were that this wasn't gonna happen.
Just out of the blue one day, he sent me 3 drawings, and he said, I listened to the record, and this is what I saw. And one of them was this. This was the first one that hit me, but then he had these 2 other ones that were equally as interesting. But when I saw this, I noticed that he started doing these. And I was like, holy shit, he saw anxiety in this record. And I was like, Josh, this is it. I didn't know this is what it looked like, but this is what it looks like in my head.
It's like every problem we were trying to knock out on the record, or in our life, really.
You know, I've done album art before where artists refuse to sell me the cover. You know, it's like, I mean, like we license this, you know, like Richard owns this, but we own the original, as you can see behind us. And I don't know how big it is. Look how big it is.
It's massive.
It's just, you know, it's 3 foot by 3 foot. And it's just absolutely, you know, amazing, you know? And so being able to own this art, I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, what do you need?
What do you need? And we'll make it happen. So what I really like about what we did here is that we were able to carry this over with photography. As soon as I put this together, I was like, oh, this is almost like seeing through 2 lenses. And I just loved how this came together, and it almost just kind of faded over. It's like, you know, left brain, right brain, you know? And when this whole thing came together in this little tiny house right here that you can barely see, you know, I just fell in love with it. And so and then when we saw this, I started doing these to replicate it. So actually these are ones that I had put together based off of, you know, how I imagined that Richard did it.
For an artist that probably, like us, has like a very exact way of how he creates, and for us to reach out to him and say, hey, he probably doesn't even listen to anything close to us, and he took the time to listen to an album and let it evoke something, and that emotion he drew from to create this. Months prior, we had this thing that I know it's like, you know, you can see stuff and make it work, but it's crazy to see the finished thing and be like, man, we really did like convey something to him and him to us for this to come out this way. Like, it's wild that, you know, he took the time, because, I mean, he does fine art.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's not easy. And to send us so much stuff, you know, it's wild to even imagine that that's our cover.